I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on his tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of his birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years.
Ed was a big man. He was big in body, he was big in mind, he was big in thinking, and Ed loved people. One of the strong points is he will assist somebody who is in need and deprive himself. He did that all the time. And that is the kind of person that Ed was. And I think the community know him for that. You see, the downtrodden, he pays a lot of attention to those who are below the limit, those who are on the lower end. Those people really attract him. He feels for them. And he will be missed by many families, individuals. Well, I will, comrade, to me, what next? Who next? Where next?
For that dash represents all the time that he spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved him know what that little line is worth.
This is a devastating loss for the people of Grand Bay. I don't think it's going to be easy for us to find somebody else who is as dedicated to the service of the community as Ed Regis was. All of us know from the time he was a very young man, he dedicated his entire life to serving the community at his own expense. He kept himself back to ensure that other people were taken care of. And I don't know how it is that we will ever find somebody to replace the person that Ed Regis was. It's irreplaceable.
For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash.
Ed was very generous. I think his generosity is what stands out. Anybody could come to Ed. They used to come to him at 10 o'clock in the night, and he would not run anybody out. I say, Ed, at 10, Mommy, but the people come. They used to come at 6 o'clock in the morning. Tuk. Ed, it's too early, you must put a time. But Mommy, they have to go to work. He was a very, very generous person. Generous with his pocket, sometimes empty in my pocket. Very, very generous. Generous with his clothing. His life was giving. He loved the children. He loved the family. Like if a mother, right now we have many single mothers. And he went to the assistance of several single mothers. He loved meeting people and helping people to be comfortable. Ed was a very generous person. That is one of the things. He has other qualities, but this is one of the things that I loved about him. But God has his way of doing things. He might rise up somebody who might be even more generous than he. Sometimes we are not satisfied with what we have, and things change. So God will do what he wants. I mean, most of us are surprised and I shouldn't say hurt. We are saddened at his passing, but God doesn't make mistakes. Okay? He does make mistakes. And many people will miss him, I stand first in the line. I won't forget him.
So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel.
Ed's life has been a community life. Ed lived with the public, with the community, his life. Because I know Ed growing up, and he has been involved in church activities and almost every group that evolved in the community. Ed has been part of it. And Ed always wants the best for everybody. One of the key things with Ed is to ensure that people are elevated. Your life becomes better. He wants to improve you in your education. He wants you to go further and further because Ed saw that as the tool really to get out of poverty. But if you are educated, you have the necessary tool. So you can equip yourself with that tool and you can generate income for you and your family. Ed wanted to transform his community. And from a very long time, before he was involved in politics, that was his focus, to see the community transform. And the decision for Ed to come into politics, into active politics, it was not an easy decision for him because I know. I had to convince him. Ed was comfortable working with the people. He did not want to go to that level. But the community, the public, made the call. And being a community man who has been involved in the level of political education in Grand Bay, he had no choice because the people called. So he had to respond. Ed was a senator and he had his vision set, but not for that position of being the pirate. He was serving at that level and he was serving. But the time came when he had to be elevated. And seeing that he had that focus, so that was the time he decided to really go into it so he can give better representation. If he is at the highest decision-making body, he can get more for his community.
And be less quick to anger, and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before.
On behalf of my constituency, my family and myself, I too would like to say how deeply saddened we are, and we were, and we still are. Some of us still can't believe it, on the passing of Ed. Ed was in cabinet with us yesterday, and I was with Ed a couple of days ago at the funeral of Lester Bird in Antigua. And we spoke, we discussed the politics of Grand Bay. As you would know, right now we're in the process of finalizing plans for the construction of 100 homes in Grand Bay. That's in the Jubic site. We're going to demolish the 43 homes that was built for the people of Jubic and to add another 60 homes to it. And that project is well on its way. And I've been in constant communication with Ed on that. In fact, we need to find homes to rent to the people who live in there right now because the homes have to be demolished. And when I told Ed that I needed some 43 homes for rent, he said, well, Reggie, I already have that. I have 95%. And 2 days ago, he told me that I have secured homes for all the residents of Jubic, and we're ready to roll with the project. And that just goes to show the sort of hard work and the love Ed had for his people, that Ed would not leave any stone unturned to ensure that the people of Grand Bay got their fair share of the national pie. And I want to say to the people of Grand Bay that Ed is gone, but his memory, his legacy will be etched in our memories. And this government will deliver every single promise that Ed made to the people of Grand Bay. it will be delivered by the Dominica Labour Party.
If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while.
Me, on behalf of myself and my family, and of course the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, extend my sincere condolences to the family and friends of the late Edward Regis. My condolences also go to, of course, his wider family and the Granby constituency, of course, and in fact the wider Southern District or Dominica by extension. Ed, as a person, was probably one of the most jovial persons that you would ever come across. He was the epitome, I think, of service. I mean, from a very early age, I remember Ed, all the way around the same age group. Ed coming home, he being an extension officer. My dad, a full-time teacher, and of course, part-time farmer. And of course, my dad, he also was a community activist, and Ed being involved in so many things in terms of community and social and cultural groups. In fact, just name a group in Granby or the wider South, and Ed would be part of it. I mean, he served as an extension officer, as I said earlier, youth officer. I think at some point he was also the president of the Dominica Youth Council. And the local government, he served as chairperson and councillor on the Granby Village Council for a number of years. The credit union board, as I said, you just name it, Ed was part of it. So it's no surprise that his path led to politics. I remember when I was recruited to run for the Dominica Labour Party way back in 2008, 2009. I remember he was the senior Labour Party person assigned to me, to work with me as a novice, politician, and he was very easy to work with. As I said, he's somebody I knew my whole life, and who can forget, his personality, on the political platform. I mean, his unmistakable voice, his the baritone voice, and all. I think is something that each and everybody is going to miss. Even it's always sad, of course, and even if the good book says that it's appointed unto man once to die, but it's always very sad, when somebody, a loved one, is taken away from us, especially without any premonition, without any warning. So I think Dominica, Granby, the South, and Dominica, in fact, I think the region has lost a true, a really good human being.
So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
Ed and I discussed a few things at about 2 o'clock. We went up to about 3. And 10 past 3, the call came. Amo, whatever you are doing, leave it and come now. No. I didn't question it. Come now. We're picking you up. Ed said to call you. I didn't question it. I moved. And here it is. Reaching the motor car. Comrade Ed is sick. They took him to the hospital. Let's go. And I went. But the comrade was there in good faith, quite all right. And we spoke. But the first thing he did was told me to hold his phone, keep it. And he gave me his belt. Told me, hold that belt. And we discussed one or two things. He told me he's all right. He can move the leg. And he raised the leg, bring it out, bring it in. And Ed was all right. And then the doctors were there and they said they're going to do a few procedures. Ed told me, that's a You can meet them out on bagay la, let me sorti yan sa, mo sa lan space ou sa. Because they're gonna do that scanning thing for you. So I told him, got someone to pay pass you. I mean, I didn't know. And Ed was settled, and then they took Ed on the ward. About 9:15, I was at the hospital, and at 10 o'clock, I left and I went home. At 4 o'clock, I got a call. I'm going to come down now because the comrade is not doing well. Come now. I bypassed his usual chauffeur, driver. I didn't call him. I took another vehicle and I head down to town immediately to really see what was happening. But on my arrival, brother gone. It was a shock. It was like a disbelief. I didn't question God, you know. But I said that could be a challenge for me because I was there with Piero. I was there with John Fabian. A month ago, my boss man passed within 3 days. My boss man, we worked together for 30-something years. And within 3 days, he passed. So it has been tight. And today, my comrade has left, and we are all mourning. We are all mourning for a great loss for the community.
I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on his tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of his birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that he spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved him know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger, and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?